Hello and welcome back to BeamNG Drive. I'm davidinark, and this time we've got a treat for you. HighDef and I were invited to make videos for the BeamNG Drive Modding for Dummies group to share with you for their Modding for Dummies Modding Challenge 2, the Gambler Challenge, in association with the BeamNG team. That's right, so this competition was held through the Modding for Dummies Discord group, and the judges not only came from that group, but they also brought in some of the BeamNG devs themselves. Now, the idea of the Gambler Challenge is to create a cheap but original off-road vehicle in BeamNG Drive. If you're like me and had no idea what a gambler was, well, you can search for gambler cars online and you get a pretty quick education. So, they are race cars built with junk and scraps, but the vehicles have to be interesting and original. As a matter of fact, the contest had a set of ground rules, but the main criteria were that each entry must be original, each entry must represent the spirit of the challenge, the model should be as good as possible, the J-beams should be as good as possible. They had to think about deformation, weight, console errors, behavior of the J-beams themselves. The repo page, that is the mod page on BeamNG Drive, should also look nice and have a good description, and the entries should be creative and fun. That's the main objective of this competition, of course. Now, as I said, HighDef and I were each invited to make a video, so we're going to have two different perspectives and two completely different presentations. I am presenting mine in random order. I'm going to cover all 15 entries, but I will let you know the top 5. All right, that's enough talk. Let's get to gambling. Here we are looking at the AWD, the all-wheel drive Rally 200BX. And this is a 200BX that has been raised up and just completely covered in graffiti and just meme type graphics and anime, and just it's a mess of a vehicle. And the I love the dirt, just the overall beat up look. You know, it to me it looks like a vehicle that was pretty beat up, and somebody tried to make it better by plastering a bunch of just random stuff all over the vehicle. I absolutely adore this. I think it is so cool. Such a great idea, great interpretation of a vehicle for a monster gambler challenge. I think it's fantastic. I love the fin on the back, the guard on the front. It handles beautifully. It's a wonderful vehicle to play around with. Definitely worth the entry here into the Gambler Challenge on BeamNG Drive, so you want to check that out. That is the all-wheel drive Rally 200BX. Now, here we've got the Gambler Roamer, and this is kind of an interesting vehicle. Just a quick note, at least in the version that we got for review, etc., it does not actually spawn in with the skin that you see here. You actually have to go in and change the skin for the vehicle, so that's just kind of a note should you decide to download this vehicle, and when it pops in it looks standard. Just go up to the top where you change the skin and give it the Gambler skin. But some other cool features. I love the dual wheels in the back. We see, you know, luggage or whatever different pieces and parts up on the luggage rack up on top. And so definitely the skin work itself, nicely done as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it looks like it's, you know, if not rusted out, certainly it has been banged up or has definitely been dragged through or behind something, because it's definitely got screwed up paint job for sure. But there you go. That is the Gambler Roamer here for the Gambler Challenge on BeamNG Drive. Now, when you think of gambler vehicles, your mind probably doesn't go to the latest vehicle offered in any situation, but that's exactly what we have here. We've got the Gambler Tograc, and that's it. You know, we took, not we, the creator took a brand new Tograc, and for the sake of imagination, again, maybe it was in a wreck or something, and somebody pieced it and parted it out. Actually, from the looks of it, most of the pieces are actually missing, so there you go. It's got some spray paint on the side ready to go. You know, is it a gambler mod? Maybe, I guess close by definition. I think for me, I mean, you already spray painted Gambler 500 on the side. I think it would have been kind of cool had you modified the skin a little more to make it look like it was a little more damaged, banged up, maybe a little more, I'm not sure it could be rusted out. I mean, the Tograc is not that old of a vehicle, but still not a bad attempt at all to, provide a vehicle for the competition that, looks like somehow they managed to get a brand new vehicle out of the scrap heap. I do like the fact that there is the metal support brace over the one door, or the one side where there should have been a door, just, for aesthetics purposes. But anyhow, there you go, the Gambler Tograc. Now, this next vehicle is one of several that are featured in the JBatics Gamblerpack. That's right, this is an entire pack of vehicles that have been made up in the gambler style, and when you install this mod, you can go through the different vehicle styles and see which ones are the JBatics Gamblerpack version. Really cool stuff there. A lot of it is giving it that old school rusted out skin textures. You got the blackened out wheels, blackened out rims. Just frankly looks like a piece of junk, and that's exactly the kind of vehicle you're looking for when it comes to a gambler pack. And then on top of that, not only do they just look nasty, they drive pretty nasty, and by nasty I mean good nasty. It's so much fun to get behind the wheel of this bad boy and just let it run and take off and do what it's going to do. And again, there's a whole pack of these together, lots of different configurations, lots of different skins, all kinds of different things that were included in this gambler pack. So that is the JBatics Gambler Pack here for their entry into the competition. Now, here we are featuring the ETK-800 Lifted, and this actually comes in a couple of varieties. One of them is it's a lifted kit with some extras attached to it, but it's how do you want to say, in much better condition than, say, the one that's got the busted up front end. So there's always just something different. In fact, even the back end is bent up a little bit. And again, if you can envision an ETK-800, maybe it was in a wreck or something and somebody got a hold of it cheap, and so they decided to bring it into the Gambler Challenge and just pieced and parted it together and essentially got it up running. I like the mesh in the windows, the luggage on the luggage rack in the top. That's fantastic. I mean, this is like, hey, we're in the gambler competition, but afterward, we're hitting the road. So we're not going to be here long. We got our luggage packed, already ready to go. That is the ETK-800 Lifted Gambler Edition here on BeamNG Drive. Up next, we've got the bigger, badder Gambler Bull-Eyed. That's right. First and foremost, I happen to love all of the graffiti that is spray painted over the whole thing. This is like you had a junker Bull-Eyed, assuming you could, envision such a thing, and just pieced it together and took a can of spray paint and just spray painted random stuff all over the vehicle. That's fantastic. But more than that, or I guess maybe in addition to that, I love the exhaust coming up over the hood, or is that an intake? I'll be honest, I don't know. Whatever that is coming up over the top, that's very cool. Probably an intake. I also like the light bars. I like the way that the light bars were done. The headlight bar across the front and the paired brake light bar along the back. I like that kind of homemade, home-built, almost like they took an LED shop light and stuck it on the vehicle. That is really cool stuff there. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that they left some semblance of louvers on the side of the vehicle. Keep it with that 80s tone, getting the louvers there. Definitely enough clearance on this vehicle, and really just a whole lot of fun to drive. That is the bigger, badder Gambler Bolide. Now, here we've got the Bluebuck Pickup Gambler Challenge mod. That's right. They took a Bluebuck vehicle and essentially replaced the back end with a pickup. So very reminiscent of, you know, say an El Camino or a Ute, as it were. But oh my gosh, so much fun. I absolutely had a blast playing with this vehicle, checking it out. I love the design. It's got a couple of weird little things. Like the 500 in the little side panel is like mirrored on the one side, so it's basically just a mirror image instead of actually being set up so that you could read it correctly from both sides. But that's, to me, that's a minor reflection kind of thing that comes with trying to skin some of these vehicles sometimes. But oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. I love the fact that there's a roof rack on top with a spare tire. That's fantastic, because you're going to need one in this vehicle, man. It's got great suspension, great handling, just all out, lots of fun to drive. A Bluebuck converted into a pickup truck. I don't know, for me, you just can't go wrong with that. Of course, I'm a big fan of converting any type of either sedan or coupe into a pickup truck. So kudos to the author here, the creator of the Bluebuck pickup truck. Now, here we have one of the most unique vehicles in the competition, because not only is it a raised up Covet, which is already unique in itself, it is a twin engine Covet. Yes, two engines. One engine drives the front train, another engine drives the rear. I will tell you, there are a couple of issues with the vehicle when it first spawns in. First of all, you have to make sure that you are in manual transmission mode. And I know from experience, you have to make sure that you're in manual transmission mode before you spawn the vehicle, because changing to manual transmission after you've already spawned it doesn't always play nice. Speaking of play nice, you have to actually go in and bind the keys for the rear engine, which I think is kind of unfortunate. It just seems to me, excuse me, that the author of the mod could have figured out maybe how to do that. I have no idea how complicated that is, but it just would have been easier, I think, or made it easier on the user. But anyhow, once you get those keys bound to the vehicle, then you can just, man, you take off and you're controlling both engines at the same time. It's a crazy thing to wrap your head around. So it's got a kind of an initial learning curve, but then once you've got that, man, you just, you know, shift both engines into gear and let them rip. It's a lot of fun to drive once you get going. That is the twin engine Covet. For the record, what I did was I bound a shifted version of each of the gear keys. So that is Shift V started or stopped the rear engine, Shift X shifted up the rear engine, Shift Z shifted down. So just throwing that out there. But anyhow, the twin engine Covet. Here we have the 200BX Monster Gambler. There just seems like to me there should be some other word in there, because this thing is a monster of a gambler beast. As you can see, it is jacked up. It's got crazy monster tires on the thing. The skin is beautifully, absolutely horrid in terms of the whole thing. Looks like it's just gray primer with some different words spray painted on the side of the vehicle and on the back there. I love the twin pipes sticking up through the hood. You also see the filter peeking through. It's got the ram deal on the front of the vehicle, of course the roof rack with the spare tire. Just overall, this is a gambler vehicle for sure, no doubt about it. Absolutely enjoy driving the thing. Handles well, drives well. I had so much fun just driving it, crashing it, letting it fly, do whatever it needed to do. That was fantastic. The 200BX Monster Gambler. All right, here we've got the Grand Marshal Gambler Ute, and this is actually one of my personal favorite vehicles of the lot. I just think it's really, really cool stuff here. From the El Camino style, you know, you got that pickup version of a sedan. It's just, I don't know, it's very cool, but it's not just that. It's the textures that have been put on the car itself, in addition to the mesh covering that's in the back with the equipment that is being kind of kept in place because of that mesh. Now, I will tell you, the equipment itself in the back, so far as I could tell, doesn't shift around or anything. I think that'd be kind of a neat addition if the stuff was just allowed to free flow in the back of the vehicle while you were, you know, tearing things up. But still, overall, really cool. I like the fact that the separator between the front of the vehicle and the bed of the truck is wood. That is great, man. I just absolutely dig it. And the fact that the tires, the wheels, stick out further than the body, you know, not only giving it some extra room for bouncing around, but it just kind of gives it that completely put together beater look that you're looking for in a gambler style vehicle. That is awesome stuff there. So that's the Grand Marshal Gambler Ute in the competition. Now, the Gambler Bolide MFD Challenge features some really neat aspects to it. This Bolide has a couple of wings, one on the front, one on the back. I absolutely love the fact that it takes a total play on a pack of Marlboro cigarettes. I think that is a hilarious interpretation, from the name Marlboro to the 420 on the side. I'll let you guys, you know, use your imagination on that one. But I love the fact that the exhaust comes up out of the back instead of being routed under the vehicle. The spare tire on the top, again, the red and white design for imitating the a pack of Marlboro cigarettes, I think is brilliant. Partly, at least from my perspective, a throwback to the 80s, which where the Bolide comes from, where you had, you know, all kinds of different sponsors on vehicles that frankly just they can't sponsor stuff like that anymore for, you know, obvious reasons in terms of health and all that other stuff. But anyhow, I think this is a fantastically funny mock-up and markup and just basically send-up of a Bolide for the Gambler Challenge. This is the Gambler Bolide MFD Challenge. Now, here we've got the Gambler Ibishu Pessima Mega Pack, and it is a Mega Pack. You get a whole slew of configurations and skins and options, all built around the newer version of the Pessima. So when you install this mod, you're going to see all kinds of crazy configurations, things with chopped pieces, things with all kinds of, I don't know, bars added to them and tubes and all kinds of crazy stuff. Roof lights, fenders that are missing, the skins that go with them are fantastic in terms of looking like someone went to the local junkyard, found a Pessima, and just pieced it together in order to make it work. fantastic stuff here in the Gambler Ibishu Pessima Mega Pack for this competition. I got to tell you, some of the stuff that you guys came up with in this competition are just absolutely phenomenal from my perspective. And I was not a judge, but I can tell you, just absolutely one of my favorite configurations in the competition altogether, but also specifically with the Pessima Mega Pack. So there you go. Now here we have the Gambler Pessima, and we've got two Pessimas in this competition, and this Pessima is the older version of the Pessima vehicles, and I think it's I think the concept had great potential. I love the fact that you have the filter sticking out of the hood of the car, the front bumper's ripped off with a bar stuck on the front. I'm a big fan of the roof rack with the light bar. For me, I think that one of the things that kind of takes away from the immersive gambler environment is that it just seems like it's too clean and polished. It just feels, you know, if the vehicle could have had a skin that looked more beat up, that made it look kind of damaged and dirty and gritty, I think this would have been a wonderful contender for the challenge. And again, this is all my personal opinion. This has nothing to do with how the judging came out, but all that aside, it's a fun vehicle to drive and crash and wreck and just completely destroy. That is the Gambler Pessima here on BeamNG Drive. Now here we have quite an interesting, actually it's a set of vehicles done for this Gambler challenge, and this is the Lifted Covet. And there are a handful, a few, off the top of my head I can't remember, there's several different versions of this particular vehicle available, that they feature things like a household radiator on the front of the vehicle. I mean, come on, not to mention most of them have some kind of cuts, chops. The skins look like they were put together. It makes the vehicle look like it was just put together by hand in either somebody's garage or, you know, somebody's front yard, taking up the lawn, making the old lady crazy, that kind of stuff. But just the different pieces and parts that go on these lifted Covets are freaking awesome. Not to mention the fact it's a lifted Covet, so you know you get more ground clearance for sure than you do in your regular old run-of-the-mill Covet. Perfect for a Gambler 500, at least in my opinion anyway. What you see in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, is the Bruckell Legran Limo with the D-Series frame swap. That's a mouthful. Try to say that twice and the entire video will be over. All right, so anyhow, one of the things that I think this vehicle had was a whole lot of potential. I think that if the skin had been done in such a way to make it look all beat up and tattered and put together, just, you know, different colored doors and put scratches on the vehicle and that kind of stuff, I think this would have gone over much better in my eyes. It does have like a rusted out skid plate or oil pan or I don't know, something, but that's not something that you see when you're looking at it. Is this a Gambler vehicle? Maybe. I mean, it's lifted up a little bit. It just, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, it just looks too clean to be a Gambler 500 vehicle. But having said that, putting that aside, it is still a blast to drive. There's nothing like a lifted limo pouring down the street, you know, going down the road, just, you know, taking stuff out, hitting the jumps, just making a mess of things. I don't know. Very cool. A neat idea. I kind of wish it just been kind of fleshed out a little bit more, and hopefully the mod will get updated with some more Gambler-esque I don't know, a paint job and that kind of stuff. But anyway, there you go. That is the Bruckell Legran Limo with D-Series frame swap on BeamNG Drive. Alright, here we are, the moment you've been waiting for. Here are the top 5 entries for the 2020 Modding for Dummies BeamNG Drive Gambler Challenge. In 5th place, LJ Designs Marshal Gambler Ute. The judges had issues with messy UVs where the mesh was cut out in the back, not sure if the extended axles are realistic, floating parts in the engine compartment, the air filter snorkel do not react to the body, there's no collision, and several other issues. On the upside, however, they said it was quite detailed, the J-beam is stable, and the design makes sense for the challenge and that it looks like it could be part of the Gambler 500. In 4th place, it's Peter Bemo's Gambler Ibishu Pessima Mega Pack. Judges felt the J-beam was done fairly well, praised the use of custom parts, and the mod brought a lot of unique ideas to the entry. They didn't like that the all-wheel drive didn't work correctly for all the mods. The brake calipers stick out in some of the configurations. There were a lot of configurations based on manual transmissions versus automatic. And they also noted a lot of missing node errors. In 3rd place, Spicy brings the heat with the Bluebuck Pickup truck. During their review, the judges took issue with some modeling errors, such as missing triangles under the roof rack and in other places. The 500 on the side is simply mirrored on each side. They felt the modeling work really fit in with the spirit of the challenge, praising things like body damage and the missing headlamp. Taking 2nd, Car Lover 416 brings it in with the Bruckell Legran Limo with D-Series frame swap. On this one, the judges felt that a more appropriate skin would bring the mod to life. They also noted issues with the rear door, that the seats were jiggly, and it had deformation problems, for example, in the middle section of the vehicle. They felt the mod presented a neat idea that fits the challenge and it incorporates custom parts, and they appreciated the use of a common folder rather than duplicating pickup parts. And now, your number 1 vehicle in the 2020 Gambler Challenge, the winner of the competition is Taza with the Lifted Covet. The judges noted that the frame appears to be from a base 2-wheel drive hopper, yet the indicator shows a high-low transfer case option. The master brake and clutch cylinder are on the wrong side, the radiator texture is a bit plain, and the rear brake lights have the wrong texture. On the positive side, though, the judges felt this was a creative design that made use of cool hack job features, such as the house radiator on the front. They noted stress-free J-beam and no console errors as well. They thought it was a very enjoyable mod to drive and that the attention to detail was very nice. There you have it. Congratulations to all of the entrants, with a special cheers to Taza for taking home the prize in the 2020 Modding for Dummies BeamNG Drive Gambler Challenge. Hey, remember, be sure to check out HighDef's video. I'll have a link down in the description below, and I want to give a special thank you to Blejo, iTorer, Dtrox, Nadiox1, Trackpad User, HighDef, Lilo, and all the folks at the Modding for Dummies Discord and at BeamNG for inviting me along to make this video for you. I hope you enjoyed my take on showing you the 2020 Gambler Mod Challenge contestants. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you'll know when new vids get posted. I'd appreciate it if you liked and shared the video too. Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to Hero of God, GamerGull, and Mr. Spooky7 for supporting me on Patreon. Hey, I've got a couple of videos here you might be interested in. You can check those out and, well, we can hang out for a bit more here on davidinark. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.